What is up, guys? We're here in the Comic Cave for this week's reviews. We're talking to David and Nathan from the Night of the Chihuahuas. Got issue 1 and 2 just came out. Thank you guys for joining us. Nathan, you're a producer on the book.
Yeah, I am.
Writer, right?
Yep, writer, creator.
Creator, nice.
So first of all, I gotta say I love the book. The premise is super fun.
Yes.
We love horror books. We've been covering more and more indie books. I guess I'm kind of curious what sparked the whole Night of the Chihuahuas thing. Was there a late night drink session, a Chihuahua that was a little rogue in the park? Like, how did it come about?
So basically, I mean, I have always grown up, typical Latino, right? We have Chihuahuas are just everywhere. Like every nana has one, and they're all mean as shit. And I know that I guess I should ask, am I allowed to curse on this?
Yeah, of course, please.
Okay, cool.
Encourage you.
So, I mean, we had Chihuahuas like my whole life. I remember like always as a kid, they're always nipping at your ankles. They're chasing you off the yard. And then my favorite dog I've ever owned, we had her until she was 18, and she was a little Chihuahua about like yay big. And she was just the meanest dog I've ever known, but she loved me, but she hated everybody else. And I always told her, like, if you had the strength to back up your attitude, you would be illegal to own. And then I remember I started thinking, like, how funny would it be if Chihuahuas did have strength? And so I came up with the concept where they get into a serum so that they're still small and people underestimate them, but now they can chase down cars and, rip the tires off and tear people into pieces and, scratch through doors to get into the houses. And it just kind of went from there. And I'm a horror guy. Like all my favorite movies are horror movies. And so taking a standard premise of, an army of whatever, and then a lone group of human survivors fortified in a house trying to survive. And then I was just like, how funny would that be if they were trying to survive against Chihuahuas? And then it just went from there. And yes, there was drinking involved.
The little elements, were you like referencing like Resident Evil in a way?
Yeah, heavily.
Yeah, Leon.
Heavily. Leon, he said,
yeah.
And then he says that he even says, Samantha even says that Chief Irons was reaching out to her and stuff. So yeah, very much so.
Yeah, as soon as I read that, I was like, oh man, I like this already.
That's awesome.
I also got a feel of Tremors. Big Tremors fan.
Love Tremors. I actually just showed that one to my kids. It holds up so well. And
we reviewed it a year or two back, and
nice.
Yeah, it was shockingly holds up. It's like, man.
Yeah, like really well. First one does anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nate, when did you jump on? Like, or did he pitch it to you and you said, I want to get on this project right away? What happened? Well, how did you come about with it?
So if you let me give a little backstory, David and I both come from the film industry, and I was writing movie reviews for a publication here in Arizona, and they let me open up an indie section. So I had met David. I don't remember exactly how we got in touch, but
yeah, neither do I.
I reviewed a couple of his movies, and when I watched Night of the Chihuahuas, which actually was a movie, which David has, maybe I'll let him give a little background on that. But he didn't have a large budget. He didn't have trained dogs.
I didn't have a budget, and it's not a large budget. I didn't have a budget. So.
But when you see something that has heart, like it just stood out. And I when I reviewed it, I was like enamored by it. So, we started with Night of the Chihuahuas as we worked on a movie together. I produced David's movie. He wrote and directed it. And we went back to Night of the Chihuahuas, like, how fun would it be to make this into a comic book? So we started trying to make it a graphic novel, and that endeavor failed. But we were able to pick it back up recently, and here we are. Yeah. Two books done out of 5.
Yep, absolutely. So I do want to clarify, it was a movie in the sense that you could grab a video camera and chase your friend around the house for an hour and call that a movie. It was like, I mean, saying it was a student film is a little bit beneficial to, it's giving it way more credit than it deserves. So it was kind of a proof of concept. We never got any funding for it. We were never able to advance beyond that. So.
So going into comics, what were you guys comic readers? Big comic readers? Like what are some of your influences as comic book fans?
So for me, I mean, I grew up and I was a huge Bernie Wrightson fan. Like I had Bernie Wrightson's book, much to my mother's horror. And I would like take it to school, and the teachers would call my mom about, what is your son bringing to school? So Bernie Wrightson was a huge influence as far as an artist perspective. Story wise, I grew up with a lot of these movie adaptations, and I remember the first one that really was The Night of the Living Dead. That I think it was Fantico. The publisher did, but Carlos Castro, I remember, was the artist, and it was unreal because I loved the movie, and then to see it done as a comic, and it opened up so much more that the movie didn't show, that the movie didn't really do, and that really kind of made me start wanting to write. I would start like in my notebooks and stuff writing comic books based on like movies I loved that opened up that world and like showed what was happening between these scenes and things like that. And then right now my favorite is Something Is Killing the Children, which I think James Tynion IV is hands down my favorite writer right now working in comics.
I'm not as well versed in comic books as David at a young age. I jumped in probably in the 90s, early 90s, before I went into the military. A lot of us guys would get together, and I was a big Pitt fan. If you guys remember Pitt, that was probably my starting off point. And recently I've been picking up more indie titles. One thing I've been enjoying is called Golden Rage. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one.
Yes.
Actually very enjoyable. It seems like a lot of the superhero stuff has been played out.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, like our story is kind of fun and unique, and, Golden Rage is like Golden Girls meet survival horror. So a little different take, little bit of fun. Right, does that answer your question?
Absolutely, yeah. We picked up Golden Rage. We were pleasantly surprised by it too.
I saw it in the previews, and I was just like, "Is that what I think?" Okay, awesome.
Get it.
My favorite frame so far has been like she's holding her hand out like the Terminator. Come with me if you want a bath.
Oh man. But that's where it's at right now, man. Indie comics is really where, and this is why we enjoy doing a lot of these interviews and getting to pick up a lot of these independent stuff. Pork Chop Express. What is Pork Chop Express?
Do you guys know the reference?
I can't. Maybe after you tell me, I'll be like, oh,
Big Trouble in Little China. The Jack Burton has a truck called the Pork Chop Express.
Oh, okay.
So
Kurt Russell's character.
Yeah.
There was a group of us kind of trying to figure it out, and we had two names, and I forget, it was Pork Chop Express and something else. And I said, let's flip a coin, and we didn't have a flip a coin, so we had a plastic ninja star. So we flipped the plastic ninja star in the air, and Pork Chop Express is what it became. So.
I would love to know what the other option was. That would have been hilarious.
I forget.
Yeah, it's like that bit where the multiverse splits. It's like...
Yes.
One universe is forgotten, the other one is Pork Chop.
Yep.
And what are your plans with after, like, is this your first comic? Is this your first comic book that you've written?
Yeah, so for me, this is Night of the Chihuahuas is the first of many, because we actually have a couple other ones in development. I've been working with the guys at Aquatus Comics, who are they do the OMG horror anthology, and we've got one called The Legend of Maynard Lake that's coming out, and I've done a couple of other ones for them. And then I've got I'm working on a feature film script that I wrote. We're converting it into a comic book right now, and I'm really excited for that one. That's going to be an adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's short story Dagon.
Very cool. It's really cool. Yeah, you're right up. You're referencing all the stuff that we like. So,
hey, cool.
And we have we're going to be finishing out Night of the Chihuahuas. David has written Night of the Chihuahuas 2, and we've agreed to revisit that when we wrap it up, kind of to see, like, value wise where it's at. And I'm also writing a project called Killer Hair, which is about a woman whose hair gets possessed and it starts killing people without her what's the right word, consent. So like it's kind of an allegory of mental health, but she's picked on, kind of tropey, but it's just kind of funny because it's once again kind of borrowing from that horror comedy genre. It's something unexpected, and there's a lot of fun little twists and turns in it. So I'm about 60 pages into that, and David's actually helping me. He's giving some input. So he's you have a master's in screenwriting?
Yeah, an MFA.
Nice. Well, make sure you let us know when that drops. We'll definitely be excited to pick that up and check it out for you.
Heck yeah.
As much as we can, at least.
Thank you.
For sure.
And how does RC Torres, how did that collab come in? How did you meet him? Had you already worked with them before? How did you get him to be the artist on the book?
So we had, now Nathan, that was a connection that I think was made through you, correct? Because he was local at the time. He moved, he was here in Phoenix, but he's from Texas. He moved back to Texas. And so he is the artist on the first 2 issues. And then unfortunately, we were no longer able to work with him because he got hired on to do some other projects. And, one of the joys of independent art is you're making this as a passion, and it's normally everybody else has got their own day jobs or whatever you want to call them that are paying the bills. And then you're doing these on the sides. And then sometimes as you keep doing these, life goes and people start getting hired onto other things, or, hey, all of a sudden I got a kid, now I can't devote all this time to it. And so, the pieces unfortunately are interchanging as we are developing the series because, time has just marched on. And so unfortunately, we're no longer working with RC on issue 3 going forward. But that initial connection was that he was local. We found him, we hit it off with him, we went and met up. Despite the fact that he's a Cowboys fan, I think we were able to, get along and come to some agreements, and then started working with him when this project was first developing. And then Nathan, how did you make that connection? 'Cause that's the part I don't remember.
We did CrossFit together.
CrossFit, that's right.
The
He was a
old
Cowboys
CrossFit.
fan who did CrossFit. Like, I'm trying to figure out how many other things.
So
Yeah,
is Albert going to be the one going forward? Is he going to be your new artist?
So if I can answer that question, Albert did issue 3, and he did a cover for issue 2 and issue 3. And then Albert, we had some scheduling conflicts with him. So going forward from there, we've started issue 4, and we're not really sure how to end it. I've had feedback from people kind of on both sides of it. Is like, we want to finish, right? So it's like, having a different artist for each issue is kind of the feel that we're going for right now. We don't know how it'll end up, but people love the art, people love the concept, and we hope to finish strong. Yeah, so I gave a little, I emailed a little graphic for you guys, but Eric Ruiz is working on issue 4 right now,
and he's killing it.
Yeah, it looks great. It's a lot of fun.
It kind of works out too, because like the tone of the series shifts because just like in a typical movie, it starts off with your setup, things are getting a little bit weird, but we don't quite know what's going on, and then we start to investigate, and the stakes increase, the dramatic intensity goes up, and then by like issue 4 and 5, it's a gore fest, because at that point we have our survivors hold up, we've introduced who all the characters are, they know what the threat is, and now it's just Chihuahua mayhem. And so it's like in the first few issues we get to see the Chihuahuas, what happens when they get their hands on people, but that goes up to like, we kick it up to 11 once they get into the house, which is introduced in issue 3. And so having new artists take those on is kind of fun, because we're having them focus on that, just a splatter fest, and it gets really crazy. So I can't wait for everybody to read that.
Thought it was gory already, but good to hear.
Yeah, it gets up there.
I like when they get all the cholos. The little homies.
Scared of
Eddie and Raul, man.
Scared of the little doggies, eh?
Is there plans for like stuffed Chihuahua merchandise or anything like that?
I'm working on
I was
several
gonna say,
things
we're
right now.
trying.
Yeah, I've got a skateboard deck that's coming in probably in a week.
Nice.
We're making some shoes right now. Also looking to get 3D toy made. Not stuffed, but
Like a vinyl toy, right?
Vinyl, right?
Yeah. So, but I mean, we're still kind of small. Really, we're like small indie, and some of these things are for fun, for marketing. Someone's offered to buy the pair of shoes already. So people are sneakerheads. They love that kind of stuff. So like, oh, cool, But we have big dreams, and we're just, day by day, step by step. It's how it's going. So
if anybody listening wanted to go ahead and find that, where would they look? It's going to be on conventions, Instagram, that kind of stuff.
Mostly, I think we're the most active on Instagram. I run all of the social media stuff, and it's a lot of work. You guys have your social media thing. It's there's just so much to do all the time, but I try to post stuff like that. If people see something they like it, they can just message me. We will be carrying things at certain conventions, original art, things like that. We are just found out today that some new friends, 305 Comics out of Miami, is going to take us into NerdyCon. And if you guys know what that is.
Not familiar, no.
NerdyCon, do you guys know who Nerdy Girl Comics is?
Yes, we've heard of her.
Yeah, she's putting on a convention, and it's not this weekend, but next weekend. So 305 Comics, Liana and Tina, thank you very much. They're going to put our stuff in that show. And we're just kind of grassroots working it. And we will have fun stuff. We try to, I don't know, I think we try to bring something fun and different to every show we're at and get people involved. Some of it's probably silly, but we do the best we can.
Yeah, as long as you have a passion for what you're doing, and you're doing what you're doing is what really matters, and you're having fun.
Yeah, it just sucks when you because you got ideas, and I'm always coming up with like, we should do this, and then you start looking into the cost of it, and if you don't know somebody who does it already, it's just kind of like, oh, all right, so let's put that on the back burner.
It's pretty expensive. I think we could do that right now.
You can see the shoes on the mock-ups of the shoes on our Instagram, and I have a friend who customizes sneakers out of the Bay Area, and he's given like the super hookup price. So it's like, it's not something that we could do ordinarily, I think. Because I think custom sneakers are like $1,000, something like that. So we're paying less than half to do that, and then people are excited, like, hey, I'll buy them. Like, cool. It's like a little experiment, and you're like throw it off real quick. So
definitely.
Yeah, and use those funds to keep expanding the universe of the Chihuahuas. So
yep,
it'll be a lot of fun. But you guys do have a good concept. It sounds like you guys have a lot of passion, a lot of love for it. So, and we feel it. So that's why we were stoked, and you can tell it comes off on the pages. You can definitely tell when people like what the heck they're doing. They're not just producing something for the sake of producing it. Like, you guys actually have a backstory here, so that's pretty tight.
Thank you.
Yeah, much respect to both of you. Just
thank you.
Yeah, and I'm glad you guys are getting hookups and exposure like that, because it's hard, man. It's hard.
Absolutely.
Yep. We always make it's not a joke, but we always say, it's like you're fighting the algorithm, man. You're always fighting the algorithm. And it's like social media, and you're trying to get your product out there. You're trying to and I don't want to say product, that's the wrong word. We're not creating product, we're creating art. We're creating something that we're passionate about, that we, it's Killer Chihuahuas, it's silly, but it's something that we love and that brings joy. And seeing the look on people's faces when they see our banner at the Comic Cons and stuff, and how many people run over to talk to us about their Chihuahuas and show us pictures of them, and how much fun it's bringing. And it's just, you want it to get out there, and people seem to love it, and yet getting the word out is so hard, because every social media platform is pushing something else, and it's the way that they're aggregating their likes and what they're going to push out front. It's like trying to figure that out is kind of soul crushing, because like for me, I'm a writer. I just want to write. I just want to create something cool and get it out there, and like trying to figure all this stuff out is just makes my head hurt. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm with you there, man. I'm an artist, and I just want to paint and draw and do my own thing. And all of a sudden now it's like, okay, now I have a tripod and lights, and I'm spending a half an hour just getting the Instagram stuff set up before I can actually sit down and do the stuff that I want to do. So it's I feel that soul crushingness, it's like
very much.
Yeah.
Well, keep up the fight, man, because it's it is a fight, but it's worth it for sure.
And we know you guys have an Instagram. Are you guys Twitter, or what other social media accounts do you guys have out there?
Instagram and Facebook right now. I just started a Hive. I've seen a lot of people transferring over to Hive, and I made a post and they deleted it. I have no idea why.
Right away, huh, man?
Yeah, I don't post like graphic stuff or anything, but
I was gonna say you just came in with your pants down, just right off the bat, firing those.
Pretty much.
And then to pick up the book, besides at the shows, website is the
website, nightofthechihuahuas.com, and it's kind of tricky to spell Chihuahuas, so if people, there you go. And we're in 30 stores in 6 states, and that's growing. We put in comics in Maximum Comics Las Vegas 10 days ago, and they sold out.
Nice.
We've been in shops, a couple shops that have sold out twice. And it's all grassroots. We're just trying to do it the best.
Yeah,
my thing
just
is
word of mouth. It's just people telling their friends. That's all we were doing.
Yeah,
that's
just marketing.
I feel like it's so much. I think it's cooler when people really love what they're reading and they get excited. And that's when you're in a comic shop and somebody hands you a book or starts talking to you about something they're passionate about. That's always really cool. So I've seen it with a lot of indie books too, a lot of horror books. We recently picked up Bloodstone, which is like this chupacabra type book.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's fantastic, but we
Also
really enjoyed it, and hearing people talk about it in comic shops is really fun. So I'm looking forward to hearing someone bring this up, and if I don't, I will bring it up because
well, we're trying to get into SoCal. We're kind of spread out, but SoCal is one area we haven't gotten into. And you guys, David said it is like joy, like this kind of thing makes people smile when they walk by the booth. I watch David is gifted behind the booth, but he would say, hey, we have a horror comedy about killer chihuahuas. Instantly people are like, huh? Like they'll laugh, they'll cringe. There's a reaction though. It's the most of the time, if you can get their ear for a second, there's a response. And it's like, that's kind of, for me, it's like, making people smile. It's like, I'm a producer or whatever, but it's just like, I want to learn the industry, write my stories, learn and have fun, make friends, like it's not really, I don't think at this point we're, trying to cash in big, but just network, meet people and get the word out.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing I like about the cover for this one, it reminds me of that Bulldog shirt back in the day that all the like gangbangers would have.
Gangbanger.
Exactly.
He was not a gangbanger. And then the homages.
And then the homage to Jaws was
beautiful,
fantastic.
man. That there catches the eye already. And then when you open it, you read it, so much fun, so much. And you guys are right on it. Like I said, horror fans, video game horror, survival horror fans will love it. You guys got so many different demographics on here. It's incredible.
And I like the way
you see
that inside the title too, it has the Chihuahua head. That was
yeah.
Very
Yes,
good.
Do you guys see the Godzilla one? The Godzilla cover?
No, I haven't.
It's not printed yet. It's on the Instagram.
Okay.
It's we call it Chizilla.
I was actually looking to see if I've got it handy. I would grab it, but I do
We
not.
have a few Godzillas here ourselves, so.
Oh, nice.
I should have had one. We haven't printed the actual book, but we have posters of it. So, you know what I can do?
I would always say, there goes Tokyo. Yeah, that we sell that print at conventions, and we move quite a few of those ones because it's very dynamic. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Looks
Will that
like
be
a-
available in Los Angeles this weekend?
Looks like a
Yep.
shimmer.
Yeah, just the print so far. We're working on releasing the third issue. We have it completed. It's wrapped. We have a game plan, kind of a strategy, how to move forward. So it's a grind. It's not, it's not like you walk in and you cash out. All these little things take time. And one of our artists actually told us that comics are a money pit. So I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but we're just being methodical about it. So
Mhm.
And so,
Yeah, unfortunately, my wife wouldn't let me cash out my 401k to just finance it all and get it out there at once. So I tried, but
That's good. And so for anybody else on the grind as well, trying to get it up there, get somewhere, what advice would you give to these up and comers?
the number one piece of advice I would say is, if there is anything else you would rather do, go do that. Because unless you are passionate about this and this is all you want to do, it's going to be you're always going to be able to find an excuse to not do it. You're always going to be able to find this is really difficult. I'd really rather just spend 2 hours, playing Fortnite or doing whatever, instead of the 2 hours that it's going to take to get, like a couple of pages done. And 2 hours is probably being very facetious. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of time away from family. It takes a lot of time away from other family obligations, and all these other things that you have to do. And if this is not something that you're passionate about, that you want to do more than anything else in the world, you're not gonna, because it's too easy to go do something else. It's too easy to stare at your phone for 4 hours in a night and to lose yourself scrolling through Netflix for a few hours. It's like there's too many other things that are easy to do, and this is so freaking hard to do, that if you love it, it's worth it. And if you love it, you want to do it. And like I thrive in this because it's not easy, but it's so rewarding. And like even those, the drive home from the conventions and like the smile on my face, and then I log into work the next day and I'm just like, fuck, what am I doing here? I want to go back to doing that. That was so much fun. And man, you've got to have that joy for it. And if you start losing yourself in those the algorithms and in the numbers of like, how do I push product here and there and doing all this other stuff, like you can get lost in that. And so it's like, just keep your passion and keep moving forward, and good things will happen if you keep moving forward. It's a moment that you stop, then nothing will happen.
Well, say less, man.
Here, here.
Anytime. Yeah, you got two sold right here. So
Appreciate that.
Nathan, anything you want to add to that?
I would just say be persistent. Like David just said, I found more heartbreak doing this than I would imagine. So just going on, like it's like almost like an endurance race, or maybe like an endurance walk. But sometimes I just sit down, like figuratively speaking. I can't today. I'm frustrated, whatever, this isn't working. But then I get back up and I keep going. Having a really strong team. David is on board with us 100%. My wife is a graphic designer. So she created the masthead with the little Chihuahuas embedded into it. And we have Josh as well. And then I guess I'll leave it at that. But we work together, David is going to LA. It's not it's not far, but it's not close either, for a full weekend to go to a con in a new area for us. I'm not a horror guy. I love some of it. David is a horror guy. David got COVID right before a horror show that we had to go
That
to.
broke my heart too.
I had to go to a horror show. I did not love it, but we worked together. And I think that in itself is like persistence and resourcefulness and commitment. Like just you keep going. And not to sound corny, but like David will chime in sometimes and it's just like refreshing, like, okay, this is why I'm doing it. He'll just say something like a little text or whatever, and it kind of keeps me motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a lot of fun, and there's taxes. There's, the lady at the show coming and hunting you down for your tax ID and you can't get a hold of it. And it's like, I thought it was going to be like somebody draws a picture, I put it on paper, I sell it, they give me money, and I give it back to another artist. It's not what it is.
Yeah, a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, man, that's incredible, and getting you out of your comfort zone, man. Trust me, that's growing right there. So it sounds like there's a lot of passion, a lot of love here. So definitely hope and wishing nothing but the best for this book going forward. Hope you guys kill it, and I hope more and more people pick up on Night of the Chihuahuas.
Hey, man, thank you so much. It means a lot to hear that. Thank you.
Nice. Any parting words you guys want to say before we wrap it up?
Really appreciate you guys having us on. Just it means so much. Just getting to talk with you guys and helping us spread the gospel of the killer Chihuahuas, man. That's awesome. So we really appreciate the support.
And I don't know, I sent you guys a graphic. I don't know if you're gonna edit later. Just wanted to give a shout out to Albert Morales. His handle on Instagram is Angry Rooster Studios. David Kerchek at David Kerchek Art, and Eric Ruiz is Ruiz Illustrations. But these artists are teaching us a lot. It's not always easy, but I'm really thankful for all the lessons that we're learning. And some of these guys, they've been in the industry, they've seen a lot, and they have a lot to offer. So just a lot of respect for them.
That's so cool to have somebody that you can kind of touch base with, because I feel like you got to have so many mistakes going. I mean, it seems inevitable, right? You're going to have your missteps as you're developing and moving along, and it's got to be important to have those people that you can reach out to and run things by and get advice from. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for being here with us. Again, we appreciate you guys, and we're excited for issue 3, 4, and 5. And we'll see you. Yeah,
we'll get that print this weekend.
Heck yeah, man! And look forward to meeting you guys in person.
We're also talking about going to Arizona in February too.
Yeah,
we're thinking about going out there.
Hit me up.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know.
All right.
So there's going to be a little comic expo, and so
you guys are going to be there too, right? At the one on the 25th, I think it is.
Yeah, Arizona Comic Book Arts Festival.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, first round's on me, so remember that.
There you go. All right, I'm real excited.
Heck yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much.
Awesome, man. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.